Hello there, I'm doing a quick video here. I thought of something else to do while I'm under these circumstances of having like the camera and not using normal camera stuff, which is what YouTube channels do I watch. I thought it'd be quite a good one because everyone else seems to do it but I don't, so I thought it'd be quite cool. I'm not going to do anything political about it, like what political channels I watch. I mean, I come and go politically, like I kind of watch them sometimes, a lot of times I don't. Depends how interested I am. I mean, politically I'm like centre left, so I watch different channels to see what everyone's saying, but I'm still centre left basically. You know, basic traditional kind of old Labour supporter type of thing. It's not really that interesting or complicated. So I'll just stick to the film channels and the gaming channels because I'm a slight gamer. I'm not that big a gamer, but I like watching stuff, and I know lots of gamers, and if you look at my channel, there's one or two little gaming things on it, but not much. I'm not that good. I do it for enjoyment. I'm mediocre at best. You know, I'm mediocre on a good day. Right. But I'll start with the gaming channels, then I'll go to the film channel. The film channels will be longer and probably more interesting, but I'll start with gaming and get over the way. Right. The channels I tend to watch and gaming channels tend to be more entertainment based, with some information. So I watch Funhouse, which I've watched them for years. They're a comedy channel that does a lot of gaming stuff. You know, they do they play terrible old games, they play new games, but intentionally badly, intentionally for humour. Do not take themselves very seriously. I watch Inside Gaming, which is the news part of Funhouse, which is the most serious one, but they still take the mickey. They're still pretty sarcastic about things, but you get the information, you get what's going on, what's new coming out, what the controversies are. It's a fun channel, and I tend to watch like if there's any Funhouse members are doing something on their own channel. Like Lana Pierce, who's very good at the actual information, really. I even watch ex-Funhouse members as well on their channels too sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. It's like I'm more a film channel watcher, but I watch these ones as well, mainly around Funhouse because I like their content and their sense of humour is similar to mine, so it works better. The other kind of game channel I watch is Colin's Last Stand, which is more of a podcast. Most of their content's on podcasts, but they go up online as well. That's more, you get Colin Moriarty and Chris Ray-Gun talking about games and stuff, and they cover the news, but they've also got a sense of humour, so I like them too. I just tend to go with personalities who I kind of agree with and like, who tend to have some common sense, but don't take themselves too seriously. Because you can't really take video games that seriously, so it's best to watch people who don't have delusions of grandeur about what they're doing in the world, you know. I like that. That's better really for games for me. Okay, now I'm going to watch the film channels. You're probably going to know most of them because I've collaborated with some of them and I've mentioned other ones and things, but I'll just mention who I really follow on like film channels. I mean, I watched Solitary Ronin obviously since we do the podcast together, but I watched him before we even collaborated. We're both Scottish YouTubers. We both like similar films but not exactly the same. There are big differences, which I think makes it interesting, and I think we do good content together at times. But I like his channel as well for stuff that I wouldn't do, you know, because sometimes he'll do a video and something I've watched that's like, well, he's done it, I don't have to bother, you know. I'm sure I've done the same. I've done something he's probably watched that, well, it's been done, so who cares. So that happens sometimes. But I watch Ronin obviously. I actually found his channel through Daisuke Beppu, who's another YouTuber I watch. Again, Daisuke makes a lot of content. He makes tons of content. There's no way, I don't know who has seen all of it. I haven't. I watch the bits, things that interest me, but you can't keep up with all the stuff he's doing. But his channel's good, doing Criterion stuff. You'll find the stuff you like, you'll find the stuff that's not up your street, because he covers quite a lot, so there's probably going to be something you're going to like. from his, because he's a very nice guy. He puts a lot of effort into his videos. They're very long, and you know, you can tell all the effort's went into them, so they're very enjoyable videos. But you have to invest for those ones. You have to. They're not videos you watch when you're in the mood to watch something silly. You watch them when you're in the mood to watch something a bit more serious. So that's when I watch his videos. If I'm in a silly mood, I probably won't watch his videos, but if I'm in a more serious mood, I will. That's just the way it goes. Right. Two younger YouTubers I follow are SGS Films and the Forging Ashes, which is part of SGS Films, and Isaac as well, and they're just starting out. So I mean, some of their early content is rough because they're learning to speak on camera and learning to speak on audio, and Isaac's audio at the beginning tended to sound like he was speaking at a can or something. I don't know what the hell was going on in that one, but they've got better as they go on, and if you stick with them, they're actually doing very good content now. They've kind of come into their own, and they're actually making good stuff now. So early on, you could tell they're a bit self-conscious, but so was I, so is everybody. I mean, if you look at my early videos, I'm really self-conscious. There's one about Jurassic World, which I slagged off, and I am so self-conscious in that video. I'm so wooden and so like, so I mean, everybody does it. So, but they've kind of come on leaps and bounds now. So they're starting to do the channel is much more relaxed now, and they get to the point quicker, and they know what they're doing. So I'd recommend them. They're really good now. They've actually got their style down. They know what they're doing. They know what they're about. So it's quite nice to watch them grow from basically being just like, how do we do this, to actually starting to find their feet and find something which is their voice. It's definitely their voice. For the Asian side of things, I watch the two obvious ones for me is Touch of Film and Asian Movie Enthusiast. Both of them cover so much and have cost me so much money in buying stuff because they've recommended it. It's like, that looks interesting, I'm buying that. They're probably the two channels that have cost me the most money by a mile. Because I mean, buying from foreign lands a lot of the time. So, but they're both good. I mean, Eric, who's the Asian Movie Enthusiast, he's much more prescribed of. He's got points to make. Hus in Touch of Film is much more relaxed. He just talks in a more relaxed, normal manner. Eric's much more Asian Film Enthusiast. He's much more. He's got points to make. They're two very different voices, but they're two different takes as well, which is good because you can see two different takes in certain films, which I really like, because it's like you're going to. Plus, they cover very different things. I mean, the Asian Movie Enthusiast channel covers a lot more exploitation, and Touch of Film tends to cover more classier films. But Asian Movie Enthusiast covers a lot of classy films too when they come up. It's just that he covers so much more films. Like, his video seems to be like 3 or 4 times a week, and Touch of Film is less videos but more clear. I'm not sure it's more clear, it's just like I think those videos choose a targets more. Well, Asian Movie Enthusiast, he's got a lot of targets he's trying to hit, so it's two different approaches, which is quite nice to see. So it's not, you don't feel like you're watching the same channel twice. You're feeling you're watching two different points of view on an arena. And both of them do podcasts that are epic podcasts. I've been on a Touch of Film podcast twice, I think, and they're a bit rowdy. You know, they're great fun. They both do podcasts as well, and they both know a lot. So I'd definitely say watch their stuff, because if you want to know about Asian film, they cover so much of it. On Hussy's podcast, there's also Dion Wynn and Dimitri Kraus, Dion's on every time they do a podcast. Dimitri's on sometimes. They're both good as well. Dion does a lot of the art house circuit, like stuff that plays in festivals. So does Dimitri. They cover the films you might not see straight away, but you might be hearing about, thinking, what are these about? And they'll tell you what they're about, and they're very good at that. They tell you about lots of films that are films you should have your eye on over the next 6 months as they start to come out on the from the festival circuit to mainstream circuit. Like me, they don't have tons of viewers, and you know, they really deserve more, but hopefully they'll get them as it goes along. It's just one of those things. I think if you're covering like eccentric films or films that don't have massive budgets, it's going to be hard to get on audience. You know, just is. But both of them are very good. They both have very good videos. They tend to be fairly short, a lot shorter than mine. Like, they know how to edit it down more than I do. But they're both good, so I definitely recommend them. Okay, now I'm going to Man vs. Film, who's also been on his podcast. He does more horror-based stuff and more exploitation, you know, films. He covers other films as well, but he's the one who'll cover the weird film. You're thinking, who would cover that weird exploitation film? He's the guy you go to for that, because if you're thinking, I've heard of this film, is it any good? Just looking at his channel, there's a good chance he's covered it somewhere. I mean, I've bought quite a few films based on his recommendation, including a film called Butt Boy. So, his stuff's really good. I really enjoy his channel. Not everything that comes out, he continues to do that every day. Not everything that comes out every day is stuff you want to watch. There'll be a bunch of them that are really interesting. If you like exploitation, but he covers so much, there's no way you can keep. He's like Daisuke. There's so much coming from him, there's no way you can keep up with his stuff, so don't worry about it. Because he covers that many films. But they're really good videos, and he really is enthusiastic about the films he likes. And he can explain why he likes it or why he doesn't like it and things like that. You don't have to agree with him, maybe he gives you an idea what his tastes are. Again, a lot of these critics I'm talking about, none of them insist you agree with them. They're just, this is my point of view in this, which is really good. I think it's really important if you're doing online reviews or tournament films to just say, this is my point of view. It's not an overall thing, it's just like, this is what I think. Well, that's what they're all good at, that people are like here. I mean, but Man vs. Films, if you're looking for exploitation, he will cover a lot of really good stuff, a lot of weird stuff you've never heard of, and it's like, some of those films you see online, think, who bought that? Man v Film bought it. Trust me, he bought it. You know. And if he made a video about it, he probably got me to buy it too. Or at least some of it. Another YouTuber I like, who I saw basically from Daisuke's channel about a year ago, and I've been following her videos, is Bailey Walsh. She's a young American woman who covers films and books. It's quite interesting to watch her stuff because it's from a totally different perspective, a different culture. And you don't get that many women talking about films and books, really. There's some, but it's not as big as guys talking about this stuff. It just is, for some reason that's the way it is. So it's quite good to another perspective. I mean, I like her videos a lot. It's just somewhat different viewpoint. And she talks about it in a different way than someone that I would talk about it. So I liked watching her videos over the last year, because so again, Daisuke pointed me towards her. I think her stuff's really good and really interesting. You know, her videos come and go. Sometimes she does quite a few of them, and sometimes she doesn't do much for a while. It's just, that's the way it is. So you just get used to that. So, but I would definitely recommend looking at her back catalogue, because there's some good stuff there that I think is really good. So I'm now going to the kind of more professional channels that I watch, the ones that make a living doing this stuff, which is Storm Gremlin Productions is one, which is a Cinema Snob. This is Brad Jones. He does he makes low budget films. He does a Cinema Snob, which looks at old exploitation films, old independent films, and does comedy skits on them. Basically talks about himself as a critic, but he's a critic who's a total snob, tends to name. He looks down on everything, and he's the butt of the joke. And some episodes are better than others. I mean, he's been going for 10 years, so obviously no matter how hard he tries, there's going to be some weak episodes, but most of them are good. And he covers some films. You're glad that he's watched them and covered them in a video, because you're not going to watch them yourself, but you get a good view of what the film is, but you also get his reactions to some of the utter garbage he forces himself to watch. I think his stuff's really enjoyable. He does like a lot of mini reviews of films that come out as well. He used to do a thing called midnight screenings, which, because the pandemic hasn't been on for a while, which I kind of miss, because they were good looks at the films that were released. Again, I don't agree with him on everything. He's not a big fan of Terrence Malick. I'm a massive Malick fan. I like Art House more than he does, but it's a different perspective, and I think it's quite nice to see that, because again, I like just seeing other people's perspective. I don't have to agree with it. There's Red Letter Media, which I like a lot. Again, I don't agree with everything they say, but I enjoy the content. They do Best of the Worst, which means they go through all these awful movies and talk about how incompetent they are in a really funny way. They've got re-review things where they talk about old movies, and they've got like half in the bag where they talk about more modern movies, and you usually hate them. But yeah, cause they're kind of curmudgeonly about a lot of stuff, which is fun to see. I mean, they got famous for taking the mickey at the Star Wars prequels, and now when it gets to Star Wars, it's kind of annoying to watch, because I think they've done it and they look bored talking about Star Wars in any way now. I much prefer when they're doing anything that's not Star Wars. Anything that's not Star Wars is fine, but now when it hits Star Wars, it's like, you just hate this. You just obviously hate it. So, I don't even watch the Star Wars stuff anymore, because it's obvious they're not a big fan of the new ones, and they've done nothing new to say about it. But a lot of the other stuff's great. They're really enjoyable. Finally, there's Double Toasted, which I kind of got onto because Cinema Snob was on their episodes, and they started talking about how good they were, and I started watching them. They're from Texas. They're a group of guys, mainly black, but there's one white guy. There's a token white guy in there. They talk about movies, talk about other stuff. Again, you don't have to agree with everything they say. A lot of the time, I'll have a different take on a movie. But it's nice to see a very kind of working class view of movies, which is quite nice. And they just chat about stuff, what they like, what they hate, and it's enjoyable. I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like I enjoy watching them because they seem intelligent. They have a different view from me, but it's an interesting view. So it's quite good to see. Especially when they talk about the new releases, they talk about some older movies. There's enough variation of people in the chat where they talk to that it makes it work. So I like watching them too. So those are the kind of these kind of regular. Those are the people I tend to watch more often than not. There's some who don't produce that much anymore. Like Razor Wire Reviews used to produce a lot more than he does now. I quite like watching him before, but he comes and goes in there, I think, with the kind of stuff he produces. There's other people like that as well who I will watch, but not regularly, because sometimes they're not producing stuff that I'm interested in, or they're not producing much at all for a bit. This is one of those things. But yeah, there's a bunch of good YouTubers around, but these are the ones I tend to watch more than others, in between watching films and all the rest of it. So I hope this was interesting to you. I just thought it'd be an interesting video to make, just to do it, because I thought it'd be cool to see who I watch. I'm sure it's not that fascinating, but here it is. Anyway, if you're curious. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Right, bye.